On a recent podcast with George Janko, Bryan Callen apologized to Bobby Lee for his past behavior towards him. Callen and Brendan Schaub had ganged up on Lee, believing he was running an anti-fan subreddit dedicated to roasting their podcast, The Fighter and the Kid.
Bunch of white noise.
What was the most hate you've ever had in your career? And what was like a stumbling thing? Because I learned, believe it or not, from the Bobby Lee situation when all that shit spiraled.
I had the same thing. I love Bobby, but he's mad at me.
Right now?
And I took responsibility for it. Yeah, well with Bobby, Brendan was getting a lot of hate. And then some people came to us and said, here's where it's coming from. And I made the mistake of jumping to conclusions. I spoke out of turn, and I love Bobby. I've known him I love the guy, and I've known him for way too long. And I was wrong, and I've apologized and everything else. And it's one of my biggest regrets I've ever done. Yes, I love him, man. He's my friend.
I love how me and you both have that same story.
Yeah, but you got to admit, you have to own up to what you did. And and we had a talk, and I said, you're right, I'm wrong, and I'm 100% wrong, and you're 100% right in this. And I jumped to conclusions, and I should have given you the benefit of the doubt, and I didn't. And that's all I have to say about it. I'm not going to make excuses for myself.
How did he take it?
I was outside of myself. I was defending my Brendan, who I love. That's my brother. And I got emotional, and I was defending him, and the wrong guy Bobby was 100% the wrong person to
put the heat
on.
Yeah.
And I was just wrong. And sometimes you're just dead wrong, and I was. And I said it, and I've owned it, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes you fuck up, man, and sometimes you have to pay the price. And I hope, I just miss him, but I haven't talked to him in a little bit. Yeah.
Really?
But it's not a bad...
Bobby Lee is a well-known comedian and actor who has been in the industry for over 2 decades. He has been a guest on various podcasts, including The Fighter and the Kid, hosted by Callen and Schaub. However, in a past episode, Callen and Schaub accused Lee of running an anti-fan subreddit dedicated to their podcast. They believed that the subreddit was meant to roast them in their show. Lee denied the accusations, but Callen and Schaub continued to press him, trying to intimidate him into admitting his involvement in the subreddit. The situation became uncomfortable for Lee, and he felt attacked by the two hosts. The incident left a bad taste in Lee's mouth, and he expressed his dissatisfaction with the situation publicly. After some time, Callen realized his mistake and wanted to make amends with Lee. During the podcast with Janko, Callen apologized for his past behavior towards Lee and acknowledged that it was not right. He admitted that he was wrong to accuse Lee of running the subreddit and that he and Schaub had ganged up on him. Callen's apology was necessary because he recognized that his behavior towards Lee was not acceptable. He showed humility and sincerity in his apology, which was a sign of his growth as a person. By acknowledging his mistake and apologizing for it, Callen took a step towards repairing his relationship with Lee. Brendan Schaub also apologized to Lee privately, which was a good move on his part. However, Callen's public apology on the podcast was more significant, as it showed that he was willing to take responsibility for his actions and make amends for them. His apology also sent a message to his fans and followers that he was committed to being a better person. The incident involving Callen, Schaub, and Lee highlights the issue of cyberbullying and harassment in the entertainment industry. The internet has made it easier for fans and critics to voice their opinions, but it has also created a platform for hate and negativity. The incident shows that even people in the public eye can be victims of cyberbullying and harassment. Callen's apology also highlights the importance of taking responsibility for one's actions. When someone makes a mistake, it's important to acknowledge it, apologize for it, and take steps to make amends. This approach shows that the person is willing to learn from their mistakes and grow as a person. The incident also shows the importance of treating others with respect and dignity. Callen and Schaub's behavior towards Lee was disrespectful and showed a lack of empathy. By apologizing, Callen showed that he understood the importance of treating others with kindness and compassion. Another important lesson from Callen's apology is the importance of forgiveness. Lee could have held a grudge against Callen and Schaub for their behavior towards him. However, by accepting Callen's apology, Lee showed that he was willing to forgive and move on from the incident. Callen's apology also highlights the role of accountability in relationships. When two people have a conflict, it's important for both parties to take responsibility for their actions and work towards resolving the conflict. Callen's apology was a step towards repairing his relationship with Lee and creating a more positive dynamic between them.